Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Danjo number 9234 in a 613 finish. This is what they've sent. 9234 613. This is a admittedly oil rub bronze is a tricky finish. And it is one that is susceptible to a very broad and wide definition of what it looks like, and no two look the same. So be mindful. This is 613 from Danjo on this strike at this time. So this is a 9234. What that means is that it's a T-strike. Let's take some basic dimensional... Well, why is it a T-strike? If you use your imagination, you can see why we would call it that. It's a 2 3/4 T-strike. I don't know it by any other name. Very typically used in wood frames. 2 3/4 tall. Now the width, this is 1 1/8. Well, 1 1/8 is a reference to up here. That isn't really that important. The overall width is about 1 7/8, but the way that these strikes are measured is by lip length, which is the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. And you can see that that's about 1 3/8. It's a little bit longer than what would be typical. 1 1/4, even 1 3/16 would be normal for a standard strike. T-strikes are you're going to see them mostly in wood frames. You can see them in hollow metal frames. Mostly used in wood frames. You're probably going to have casing involved, so it would not be unusual to have a little bit longer lip length, and that's really where that's coming from. So you would measure the half of the thickness of the door, basically, plus the inset, plus any clearance, plus any trim that you have, and then you add 1/4 inch for the curved lip strike, and that would be the formula. So half the door thickness, plus any inset, plus applied trim, plus 1/4 inch is how that would go. This may or may not work, but know this, it's 1 3/8. We've measured it. And it will include a couple of standard screws and a complementary finish. These are combination screws, wood and machine screws. They will work in a steel application, and they will work in a wood application. It's a very nice finish. I have no problem at all with the finish. And it's definitely not antique brass. But just know, this is what they call 613, which technically should mean it's made of bronze with an oil-rubbed finish on it. So that's what this strike is. Let's take a closer look at the screen view, and we'll look at all of the supporting information. So let's do that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here's the item that we are indeed looking at. Let's take a look at the extended description information first. We call it a T-strike, 18 gauge steel. Well, let's see. It is made of steel. My magnet said it's made of steel. You may have heard that. That would mean that the use of the term 613 is patently incorrect. Danjo is a chronic offender of industry finish codes. You can call it oil rub bronze. You just can't call this 613. It should be called 640. That means oil rubbed on steel base. So note, it's a steel-based item. Shouldn't be called 613. I don't know why Danjo just doesn't figure it out. The BHMA code of symbols has existed for several decades, and I'm just done dealing with it. Anyway, 2 3/4. That 1 1/8, again, not really that important, but it does tell you the width of it at a certain point. Screws are included, and when you buy one, we'll ship you one. Let's look at the template. There's all the dimensional properties. Except they don't give you the one that's important. Yeah, 2 3/4 is important, but this lip length, there's no way to ascertain that lip length. Here, out to here. The person who drew this, it just tells me that they don't understand how this piece of hardware relates to its application within the greater industry of doors and frames. I'm very grateful that the drawing exists, but lip length, You know, they understand lip length because their extended lip strikes give that information very clearly. You should give it for all strikes. Now, there is a link to the catalog, and that will drive the point home about extended lip strikes, and we'll just scroll down to it. So here's a 2 3/4 extended lip strike. So they are giving you that center line to the lip length from 1.5 inches out to 4 inch. But just because the 92-34 isn't considered an extended lip strike, again, it should still be defined. And the last thing I would give here would be this width. I would give the lip length. That's how strikes are done. Now, this catalog is handy because it will show you all things strike plate related, whether it be more typical strikes like the 92-34 we're working on, or the extended lip strikes, of which Don Joe is, I guess, somewhat known for. I think if you know the name Don Joe, you do for latch protectors and wraparound reinforcing plates. But they sure have a tremendous offering of strike plates. And if you can't find what you want right out of the catalog, well, you can have them custom make you one. While that is not an and again, they don't ask you for the lip length. It's the darndest thing. It's just the darndest thing. I mean, you can figure it out. You know B. You take half of B and you subtract that from C. That will, well, assuming that this hole is in the center, assuming that that is the case, which I believe that it would always be. Anyway, handy catalog to have. Let's take a look at some photographs of the actual item. So it's a handsome strike, there's no doubt. No doubt about that. Its packaging, ideally it comes packaged with the screws insulated from the hardware. Just showing you a side view of what that looks like. The underside. A close-up of the finish on the lip, the curved lip. And then your screw package. Machine and wood thread, it will work in both. Now, below this video here is a link to the manufacturer's page, and from here we can pull up not only all of the Don Joe products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, but that same full product catalog broken down into individual subsections. And as I said, if you know their name, you probably do for wraparound plates and latch protectors. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Speed bumps aside, lip length and finish, Don Joe has a pretty interesting assemblage of different pieces of equipment in trim and auxiliary. I would recommend that you review their catalog when it comes to flat goods and door stops and ladder pulls and hinges and pivots. Auxiliary hardware such as signage, filler plates used in steel doors and frames, and then of course strike plates and latch protectors and wraparound plates. Take a look at their catalog. They have a pretty good, reliable, predictable running business there, and I wouldn't hesitate to suggest that you review their products. Any questions on the Don Joe 9234? The box says DU. That would mean Duranodic, or a sprayed dark bronze. Just a label thing. I would call this, it doesn't matter what I would call it. If you need something like this color, your Venetian bronze, oil rub type bronze, dark bronze, antique bronze, I think that'd be this is going to be pretty compatible. Any questions on the 9234 or any other Don Joe product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, you know, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.